My name is Apoorv, and I know it's been a long day. We'll try keep this more entertaining and very light and loose. We'll not keep it very formal, and we'll try and do a quick Q&A at the end, right? So, just before I get started, quickly, how many of you know Yoga Bar here? Just raise of hands.
Oh, that's great.
That's good for you, right? I like. He was very confident before the session that हम Bangalore के हैं तो we would know yoga bar. People would know. I'm happy. How many of you have heard about Schbang? So yeah, you have a good audience here. So I'm glad. I'm glad. Thank you guys for being participative. So my first question, right before I move in, Jatin, would you like to sort of talk about Shebang? What do they do? A little bit, quick one.
So at Schbang, we sort of started in 2015 as a marketing agency. And we wanted to be a creative plus tech agency because we know that what you can be as a creative powerhouse. But the vision at that point itself was how we can also integrate technology to it and enter that space. And that is sort of where, moving down the years, how we were able to bring in digital transformation and MarTech categories, specific business units into the system, even before they sort of became the key term and everyone started talking about it. So that's what we've been able to do. We've been, Shebang, as you would know, has been, in top 15 Indian LinkedIn startups and the only service company to be there. We are present in Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, London, and Amsterdam. And as of now, we are a 1,400 people company.
How many of you have seen the latest Pidilite ads, the Fevicol ads? Anybody seen it? They're the guys behind the Fevicol and the Pidilite ads that you see around. Very interesting. Like I find the brand very cool, so they do a lot of cool work there.
I think apart from Pidilite, the new era that we have gone into using AI and creativity is on Britannia. You would have probably seen two milk bikkies floating around the ceiling highway. So those sort of things is something that we are coming up with.
Super. Thanks for that, Jatin. Over to you, Balram. Balram just corrected me. Say he's spelled as Balaram, but he said I'm Balram. So you better. I was very conscious about it. So, but a little bit about Yoga Bar and what's happening.
Hey, hi guys. First, I would like to thank. I am very happy to see so many hands. That you know about Yoga Bar. So, Yoga Bar is a startup company, a food startup. You know the story. Two sisters, Suhasini and Anidita, they started it. Largely into breakfast cereal and bar segment, healthy snacking. We are working on that. Recently, ITC has acquired Yoga Bar and we are migrating.
Guys, a round of applause for that. That's a big acquisition, right? Please.
And it was a very proud moment for us because what we have created so far, it has a long way to go. So as a startup, we can build it to a certain extent, and after that, we need a strong platform to take it forward. And what better we can get other than ITC is a MNC giant in India. That's it. You should try the Yoga Bar product, then you will know what is it. Because I will always say good about Yoga Bar because it's amazing product. Throughout my career, I was in the food industry. I worked with Nestle, Kellogg, Yoga Bar, but very proudly I can say that the quality and the product of Yoga Bar is exceptionally good. It's paramount, and you must try that.
Thank you, Balram. So, right, jumping into our session, we'll try, since this is the D2C panel, we'll try and focus on FMCG D2C side overall, and we'll try seeing how sales, marketing, and digital come together in their respective works and places and the brands that they work with. So, my first question, right, and I'll start with Balram. Nowadays, a lot of you guys, everybody is doing online or digital demand gen, right? To drive discovery and offline sales of sorts, right? And specifically new markets, right? Has it proven to be effective from a sales conversion, top of the funnel impact standpoint?
See, it works, but you cannot expect an immediate result, and it depends on the market where you are doing. If there are certain markets where the consumer or the shopper they are evolved, they are more to the closer to the digital marketing and all these things. There you will get the success immediately. Like I can tell you one example that recently we have expanded our market to Maldives. And if you go to Maldives, they most of the people are always there in the social media. It's a social media heavy market, and they do not have space, so they do not go for movie or whatever they are watching in the TV. Also, they don't watch much. So digital is very strong, and we did lots of digital marketing over there, and we got an exceptional result. I mean, we are doing very good business in that country, although the population is less. So you have to understand the consumer. I mean, whether they are digitally savvy, they understand. As a Bangalore, if we do something, the response is very good. Probably certain few state, if we do, will not get that result. So we have to understand where it will work, and targetedly, if we do, we get a good result.
No, that's great. Congratulations on Maldives. Sorry, Mauritius, not Maldives.
Maldives. I
Mauritius,
said
right? Sorry.
Maldives.
I'm in Maldives in my mind, so sorry, pardon me for that.
Remembering your trip.
So, quick one to you, right? Like you see a plethora of brands in D2C FMCG category you guys work with, right? How do you see this playing out, specifically digital to offline sort of?
From digital demand generation point of view to moving to offline, I think there is a way to do it. So let's just say you want to get products placed in a retail outlet. What you need to do is a person going to that retail outlet and saying, do you have, for example, yoga bar, right? And then there's another person goes out there and asks for the same product. And the third person that goes, the next time the retailer would be when the distribution truck comes, do you have yoga bar? I want to place it in my outlet. So that's the game. And to do that, what we need to do is we need to have a targeted digital awareness. And in D2C space, what probably we can do is, so let's just say you are defining your market across a state or country, and you define, so let's just say Mumbai is my place where most of my sales happen. Then you triple down your efforts over there so that the word of mouth increases, people start going to the stores, and then you can play your distribution game. So that way, I believe the demand generation can translate from online to offline, but otherwise it's very minimal.
Any particular brand that you've dealt with that has done it successfully, in your opinion, well?
We do this sort of an activity, not in a D2C space, in an overall space for Britannia in a very bigger way. Because with Britannia, one of the things that we understood was that we cannot collect the data from the retail outlets. We cannot collect the data we cannot sell it on a D2C because the value of the product is so low. It has to be via marketplaces. So we started coming up with innovative ideas in terms of how we can do it. I'll tell you about something very unique. We have created a metaverse. We call it Coffeeverse, right? And so we identified some of these Britannia products which are related to coffee. So we created a Coffeeverse, and once you enter that particular verse, there are 4 different locations that you have to go to. And every location has a story of its own. So there's a Turkey, there is a Italy, which are very predominantly where the coffee sort of originated, and they're famous for that. So they give you that information. So user is playing around, and at the same time, while he's running around and finding these answers, he also gets certain coupons for Amazon, some gift cards. So there's an incentivization, which obviously has to happen. But what we are sort of doing over there is, we are not just collecting the first party data, as in the name, email address when you entered the metaverse, but we have the behavioral patterns. So who entered which location? What is the time that they spent? What was the fall-off, right? Basis that, we are sort of then triggering the conversation, building those specific segments and cohorts.
Thanks for that.
Should I add a line to it?
Yeah. Go for it, please.
See, lastly, you have to understand who is your customer, who is buying your product, and what are the things that you can influence. Okay. Then also you need to understand the shopper. Shopper and customer is then who is your consumer. So you have to win in first place the shopper, in second place the consumer. If you can do it the right way, then you are the winner. Your product will sell. Now, how will you do that? For this thing, this data is very, very useful. When you have a first-hand data, then you can understand the pattern, you can understand the behavior, you can understand their liking, disliking, everything. And that's how you can make your strategy. And then it will be flawless strategy. Whatever you will implement, it will work. It will be very sharp shooting.
Brilliant. So stay there. Now that both of you have mentioned first-party data, That brings me to my next question, right? The whole category, right? D2C and FMCG, largely unorganized. Very little, some bit modern trade, and digital is a very small offset, right? And anything non-digital, the data collection becomes a big challenge, and you need more data to be able to do smart and interesting things, right? Whether on strategy side, whether on acquisition side, or anything of that sort, right? Brings me to the question, and I'd like you to go more real world use case examples, right? What are you seeing is happening in the world and India overall? Do you have some examples where using the data collection bit, you've been able to create winning stories for brands? Yoga bar in your case, any product, any category, you've been able to do something like this?
See, like data, what you were saying. So again, the offline business, if you are talking, it is in different channel. You have a modern trade channel, you have a general trade channel, you have the out of home channel, and the shopper behaves very differently in those different channels. I mean, the way they will behave in a modern trade will not behave in the general trade. Even their shopping mission is also very different. Now you have to understand how we are going to use those data and how we are going to get that data. Getting that the data is very difficult from a fragmented environment. Say suppose in a kirana shop, what shopper is picking up is little difficult to get. But in modern trade, suppose someone is going and buying something from Reliance, and they have a first club, they have a club membership card. It will be linked to your mobile number, your name, and everything. So they have that database. If you analyze that data, they will have the detail that what you are buying, what is your buying pattern, how frequently you buy, what are the products there in that basket, what are the adjacent category. I mean, probably if you understand and analyze a shopper data of say 10,000, you will understand that those people who are buying jam, they are also buying coffee, or those who are buying honey, they are buying cornflakes. So you will get some adjacent category, and you can sharpshoot that yes, now jam is a very penetration of jam is very high. Now how can I increase my cornflakes penetration? So I'll do something with jam so that penetration of my product goes up. This is very you can do all this thing when you have the right data. So for modern trade, you can get all this thing and you can do. But for general trade, honestly, we do not have any such database. I mean, probably.
Before we move to him, I want to understand from you, what would your proxy for Yoga Bar be? Who would you target?
So when you are making any brand or any product, so lastly you have to decide that who is your targeted customer. I mean, who is your TG, target group. Then you make your strategy accordingly. I mean, say whether they are male targeted is, I mean, they are male, female. What is the age group? What is the socio-economic? I mean, SEC A, B, which category you are targeting, and on that basis it will be dependent. And when you analyze the entire thing, even the geography, demography, their disposable income, those data are available in the public domain. By seeing all this thing, analyzing all this thing, you have to take some estimation, assumption, and then you have to go. Say suppose you are coming up with a coffee brand, you want to launch it and you want to understand which market should I go first. Then probably you have to understand that how Brew Sunrise, which is a higher chicory based coffee, is behaving, and how Nescafe, which is 100% coffee, is behaving. So once you understand, then you will understand. Then there is another segment. Say all the cafes, Barista, Third Wave, okay. So in which geography those cafes are dominant. So there are lots of information available, but you have to pick the right data point and you have to analyze it well.
Thank you for that. Yeah. You want to talk about the same in terms of any winning use cases, strategies that you've seen?
So since we are in Bangalore, I'll give you example of Bodycraft spa and salon chain. They have their own products. They are in a premier category of spa and salon.
Sorry, I'll cut you in between. Anybody knows Bodycraft? Here, Bodycraft. Maybe you want to tell them overall the brand.
So essentially, with that brand being present, so they have around 17 outlets across Bangalore, and they're into their TG is very premium category, right? So what we wanted to do for the brand was we wanted to understand the targeting itself, because it's a very niche category. So for example, you cannot sell iPhone to everyone, right? So they wanted to be present, and the communication had to happen to a specific category. One of the things that, and they also have their clinic chain, they also have their FMCG products in the cosmetic space. So what we wanted to do was, we wanted to, as he was saying, that we need to define those patterns, right? So to define those patterns and even to do data science activity, we created a system for them so that they started accumulating the data from everyday experience of a person who comes and sits in the spa and salon. What is the sort of service that they are taking? For how much long they were there? What was the sort of cross-sell that happened to them? Even when there were sales that were happening on the D2C website, right? We added certain personalized banners over there. We added personalized price change and offers basis their previous behavior. And with all of this data coming and uniting at a particular place, we were able to create those segments and do that personalized targeting so as to, and we are talking about impact, right? So after the implementation, in the first 3 months, there was an increase in revenue by 20%. That's
Oh,
huge,
nice, huge.
right? Because the 20% increase in, so let's just say you're talking about a Gucci over here whose cost is less, but they are a premium, right? And if the revenue increase is so high, it's just huge for the business. So that was one. The other one, while we are talking about cosmetics, so Nivea, right? Now, Nivea had a completely different approach in terms of how they wanted to go about the D2C world itself. They identified that in terms of their target audience, they're gonna probably buy their products in the larger bucket that they are defining. So they're buying they are buying deodorants, they are buying their groceries, right? So they do not want it to use D2C as a website to sell their products, but to essentially collect user data. So what we did for them is we integrated their D2C website, we integrated their offline channel, events, POS, loyalties, reviews, and we started gathering data from all of these environments. We started running specific campaigns, because I personally believe that data collection or FPD is not the way to go. You can collect basic set of data, but the impact in business is only going to come when you start enriching that data. So we started driving those campaigns to get what is the sort of skin type that you have. If you have a hair fall, then how frequently? What is the sort of problems that you're facing? And with those, whether aloe vera suits your skin or whether you have an acne-prone skin. So then once we had that definition, then we started targeting those people across all the communication channels that were there.
Very nice, very interesting.
So largely, if somebody want to understand how to understand that database and how to work on that, the basis of that is your analytic skill. You will get the data. You should know how to analyze it. What are the cuts you have to, anything you get, you have to bisect it. So deeper you go, your understanding will be better. Number one. Number two is that you also have to understand the business point. How is, I mean, exactly what is your objective? Why you want to analyze that data? What is the ultimate objective? If you have a business understanding plus data understanding, then only your connection will be established and the campaigning or whatever you want to do, that will ultimately deliver result.
And if you're not able to do so, please reach out to me.
Business understanding is very, very important when you are creating something on basis of that data.
Absolutely. My last one, I think I'm going to quick one.
Yeah.
Then we have to open up for audience as well.
Yeah.
We've seen these, barcodes and stuff come on, your packages now. In order to collect more data, people are printing these. Sometimes they click to a form, they open into a WhatsApp conversation and some of those things. And also we've seen a lot of brand do on-ground activations, right? Where you're interacting in an event and, events like us or bigger format events or places where things are happening, parties and stuff like that. Are they any good? Like, does it even work? Does it add any value to your brand from not just from yoga bar, but from your previous experiences in FMCG, modern trade sort of piece? Is it of any good?
Yeah, see, so this is when you are giving something, you are doing gamification or you are putting QR code on your product or something. Say, like if you buy any yoga bar product, say muesli and all this thing, you will find a QR code. And it's written that scan the QR code and get something exciting. You will get some surprise, okay? So there is some discount or something, but it's when you get into that, you learn more about the product. What are the ingredients? Why it is good for you? And as people are more knowledgeable, they want to understand about that. The evolved consumer. That is one. The bigger part is that when you are doing that, so the entire database is coming to the company, is the your mail ID, your phone number, and all these things. And then directly the company can target you. That whatever is the campaigning and what you want to do, you can specifically do that. You know your consumer, so you can customize it. So that is one. Second, in many, many product you will say that there is a cashback offer, Paytm offer, this, that. There also you have to put some detail. When you are putting all this detail, then also that's the brand is engaging with the consumer directly. Okay. There again you are understanding about the consumer and you are designing your entire campaigning, targeting on the basis of that data. And that's a very, very enriching data because that is a first-hand data. You are directly interacting with the consumer.
Very interesting. What about you? What do you think?
I would like to break it down because the significance changes as per the business models. Right?
Sure.
So, for example, let's just say you are a D2C website. I would never tell you to put a QR code and collect the data.
Sure.
What I probably would tell you, you have a product that you're selling, create a link, a reorder link, because it's a repetitive purchase. So you're driving people to abandoned cart and they're adding to the cart product and the sales are happening. While if you're in a B2B2C space, right? For example, you're a Finolex or you're a Castrol, right? Where at any moment you'd never interact with your direct audience, and your influencers are also very different. So your influencer for a Finolex is a plumber, influencer for a Castrol is a mechanic, right? So what do you do then? So over there, you can still use QR codes, but then that has to move to a loyalty program.
True.
And that QR code then directs you. And even with the loyalty program, you cannot make people download an app because these people are not going to download an app. So you have to give them a user interface of a WhatsApp then. So then, as you were saying, QR direction to WhatsApp, but that WhatsApp is a loyalty bot, wherein you're also giving them the incentive because if somebody is providing their information, they got to get something out of it, right? So that way, I think, so we talked about B2B2C, we talked about D2C. We talked about, for Britannia, the coffee verse, right? That is essentially to collect the data where you cannot reach. So sort of, we also have to sort of evolve into a market. We are moving away from the QR space because, and he would know better, right? But if somebody has to scan a QR code out of the product, the chances of it is very low.
Conversion is very low. But I want to clarify one thing. So first you have to understand what is B2B, B2C, what is, those jargons. It's very simple. You have to, B2C is that direct what you are sending to consumer. You have a portal, consumer are coming there and buying it. Is D2C, direct to consumer. B2B is business to business. Say Walmart is selling a retailer, is a B2B. So those are just jargon. If you go into detail, you can understand. You can.
Super. So I've been given end sort of sign by the team, but I'm going to quickly take one or two questions, please. Anybody in the audience? I hope we tried to convey in our best way of how sales and marketing align in the category. But anybody has any questions in the audience? You have? Anybody can pass a mic there? That side, please.
Yeah.
Sorry. Should I?
Here.
Yeah.
The question is, the demographics and psychographics data is easily available. The point you put on SEC data is not available openly in the market. How are you going to define that database coming into you and using that database?
Just before you answer, sir, can I know your name?
Sadashiv.
Thank you so much. Go for it. Whichever. Who do you want to?
Anyone,
please. Can you repeat the question for them? Sorry.
The consumer data on demographics and psychographics is easily available from the multiple partners, but SEC data is not easily available for India because the
SEC data is also available.
Is available.
SEC, A, B, C, everything. If you go to any media agency, you will get it. They have all.
Okay.
You will understand.
He's talking about us.
Because in the census, government, when they are doing the census, they take each and every detail. You're starting from your religion, whether you have a car or not, what is your annual income. Now, digitally, India is very progressive. You get that.
But I do understand that in specific segments that data is not available, right? And so over there, what you have to do is you have to get creative in terms of how you want to collect the data. Obviously, there has to be a awareness campaign that needs to drive people to that particular activity. But then there has to be an activity where people are engaging themselves. It cannot be that you're going to people, and this is something that we were talking about, right? You're going to people, you're asking and collecting the data. If you indulge someone, and in terms of the today's audience, right, you indulge them in a particular activity, then they're very much looking forward to provide you any sort of details. And when you're getting all of that details, since they are participating in activity, you're also going to get a much more richer form of data, which is essentially your behavioral data. So, yeah.
But I do agree that getting PII level of data is still a challenge. So I think you'll have to look for proxies to get to that sort of place. But I agreed with whatever they're saying. Thank you for asking that question.
Hey, hi. My name is Vibhu, and my question is for Jatin, right? So, Jatin, you spoke about a campaign that you did with Nivea. So, if you could just throw some light on, talk more about it. I have three specific questions about it. So, what data did you collect for, like, what data did Nivea collect on their users? And then, how did Nivea collect that? And what are the one or two top insights that they found from collecting that data?
So essentially, I'll tell you how this activity itself began, right? So initially, we had all the consumer data, wherein we know who Jatin is, and we know Jatin bought a particular product. So we had that sort of a data. But when we decided that we want to cross-sell and upsell, we did not want to spam the user. So we wanted to enrich our data to a point where we are solving a problem for the customer who is coming to our website, right? So on the website itself, what we did was we created a chatbot. And in that chatbot, we were sort of giving them incentivization, which had gift cards for Amazon and Flipkart, which had offers on the website itself that they can utilize. So that was the incentivization piece. But the data that we were sort of collecting were, we are going to give you a consultant who is going to solve a problem for you. So for that, these are the data points that we need, essentially were related to your skin problems, right? So so basis that we sort of got, if you had acne, if you had oily skin, or the data from those sort of pointers. We had an integration with our CDP. So from that D2C website, the data was flowing to the CDP. And in those CDP, we have those data extensions wherein we sort of created those different modules, right? And then everything boiled down to the data science team, who sort of started creating those predictive models. Basis that, we started building those cohorts and segments. And through those cohorts and segments, we started defining the personalized, the CLCM part of it. Does that answer your question? Or did I skip? Yeah, I can hear
No,
you.
a little bit, yeah. Go for it.
Here's a bit.
Cool. Yeah. So thank you so much for the answer. If you could just give me a ballpark number on what was DAO to chatbot conversion. So let's say DAO, daily active users. So let's
DAO.
say 100 users landed on your website. How many did actually fill up the chatbot form? If you could just talk a little bit about that.
So as of now, in terms of the percentage of user traffic to that, I might not have that number. You can reach out to me. I'll give you my card, right? But I can tell you in terms of with that activity, the number of users information that we captured. So we captured the data of somewhere around 75,000 to 1 lakh people. So this activity was not spread out across months. This was a 3-week activity. 75,000 to 1 lakh. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you so much. You want to ask a question?
My name is Bandu Pawar. I am founder of Jag Wonder, India's purest jaggery maker.
Can you be a little louder for us? Sorry.
My name is Bandu Pawar. I am founder of Jag Wonder, India's purest jaggery maker. We are doing business organically, means we are registered on Amazon, we are website on Shopify, but we are not spending much because we don't have a tech team as such. We are the best jaggery maker, but we don't have a tech team as such. So will you help us in
Sorry,
taking care
You
of.
are a
We're not
jaggery
taking care-
manufacturer, you said.
Yes.
And you want to sell your product across India, but
We
you
are-
don't know how to do it. Is that?
I am selling it already,
Huh.
but I am doing it organically. We are not spending on ad much
Okay. How
because
can
I don't have a team to take care of all that stuff. What you are
so you
teaching.
can outsource it. I mean, there are lots
That's
of
where you
ways.
reach out to me.
Yeah, that
No,
is
so
that-
essentially, if you're a D2C business, right? I'll
Right.
break it down for you. We have certain bifurcations in terms of growth plans, and we'll connect and we'll put you in one of those growth plans. So essentially, in the D2C space, also what we understood was there were a lot of brands who are sort of want to enter D2C space. Nivea, for example, is something that we have set up from scratch, right, from zero. So essentially, we wanted to what we wanted to do was a lot of D2C business are moving to D2C, but are then dying away as well, right? So because they probably do not know how to spend rightly on paid media or to have those MarTech systems in place as well, right? So what we started doing was we have curated 3 sort of different plans based on the revenue expectation. And basis those plans, we manage everything end to end, whether it's paid media, SEO, influencer activity, the D2C store, anything and everything that is related to your business end to end is something that we've managed for you.
Please give me your card.
Sure.
See, for jaggery and that kind of product, this is largely a commodity product. Okay.
You are wrong, sir.
Hmm?
You are wrong. I am selling Jaggery at 400 rupees per kg, sir.
Okay. Is a
And 20
differentiated
years
one.
back, whatever you are buying brand के नाम से जो खरीदते थे
हाँ, then
आप
it's
खरीदते
right.
हो,
If you have
वो
premiumized-
सब commodity ही था, sir.
Correct. No, then it's fine. Then this is the right model. You are perfectly all right because it's a premium product. It's differentiated.
We have got 225 franchise partners across India,
Okay.
and
Nice.
all we
Then
have
then
appointed-
it's right strategy. You have to create your brand. You have to increase the awareness. Then only your sale will go
many
up.
people think it's commodity, but
No, the
It
core
is-
jaggery is the commodity.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now people are getting into that because
Right.
people know that they want to come out of the sugar. And in the jaggery, there are multiple other vitamin, minerals, and all these things. So people are moving. And this is the right strategy. I mean, bang on.
without spending single rupee on Amazon, in 1 year we have achieved top 10 position, and
that's
our
great.
repeat customers are 40%.
Sorry,
Because the product is the best. That is the
Yeah.
key.
Product is the key. Yeah.
sorry.
Thank you.
Good to hear this story.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.
Sorry to be rudely coming in, but
Very inspiring story.
keeping interesting story. And we'll all are here. We try and interact with anybody, but thank you for being a wonderful audience, listening in till the last. Thank you for joining us on behalf of the team WebEngage. I should have sold a little more than Schbang did on this conversation. It's supposed to be a WebEngage plugin. It felt like a Schbang plugin. He didn't give me a chance. So we all know that Jatin is a great salesman by now. And thank you everybody. Very good evening to you.
WebEngage. Retention simplified.